Welcome, 8th graders. Wow, I am just so incredibly proud of the hard work and dedication you've shown this entire year. We are literally right at the finish line. But before we cross it, we've got to make sure we finish strong. So today we're going to walk through how to build your final writing portfolio. And hey, this isn't just about shoving old assignments into a folder, it's a real celebration of your whole journey. So grab your notebooks, get focused, and let's get ready to cap off this year with absolute excellence. Okay. Let's dive right into this by thinking about your favorite athletes. Have you ever watched a replay of a game just to see how to win the next time? Think about it. Professional basketball players, quarterbacks, Olympic gymnasts. They don't just chug a sports drink and crash on the couch after a big match. No way. They sit in the film room. They watch the game tape. They study their footwork, their timing, their decisions. Well, academic reflection is the exact same thing. You, my friend, are an intellectual athlete, and looking back at your own game tape, your past writing, is exactly how you level up your skills for high school. Section 1. The power of reflection. Think of this as your mirror. When you hold that mirror up, it doesn't just flash a grade back at you. It actually shows your heart as a learner. It lets you look back at your work to clearly recognize both the incredible strengths you've built and those areas where you've grown the most. And as Christian learners, this habit goes way deeper than just academics. The Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 13:5, "Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith, prove your own selves." Grounding ourselves in reflection is actually a deeply biblical principle. God literally calls us to look inward, to examine our hearts and minds, and take an honest inventory of where we stand. So applying this to your academic journey means recognizing that God really cares about your growth, your effort, and your honest self-assessment. And that perfectly illustrates why we do all of this. Reflection tells the story of your learning journey. Handing in this final portfolio isn't just about looking backward at stuff you've already finished, it's entirely about intentionally preparing for the future. By thinking critically about what you've done well, and where you can still improve, you're basically packing your bags with the exact right tools so you're totally prepared to grow even more next year in 9th grade. Moving on to Section 2, 3 questions for growth. This is your map. So if the portfolio is your mirror, these 3 questions act as your learning map to chart your progress and define your next steps forward. Every single, strong, thoughtful reflection has to answer these 3 core questions. Number 1, what did I learn? And quick hand here, nothing is definitely not an acceptable answer. This is all about the new knowledge or rules you picked up. Number 2, how did I grow? This is the application part. How did you take that knowledge and actually change your writing for the better? And number 3, what will I work on next? This is your forward-looking goal. I promise you, if you can answer these 3 questions honestly, your portfolio is going to be incredibly powerful. All right, let's look at a really concrete example of recognizing a new strength. Notice the transition here, from a basic sketch to a fully painted masterpiece. A great reflection might sound a little something like this. I became better at using descriptive language. In my first narrative, I used simple sentences, but by my last story, I was painting vivid pictures with words. Do you see how specific that is? The student didn't just shrug and say, I got better at writing. They pointed exactly to the skill moving from basic sentences to descriptive, vivid imagery. And that is exactly what I want to see from you. Now here's a crucial point. A really good reflection also identifies areas that still need work, and it does so without getting discouraged. Here's a great example of noticing a growth area. I learned to support my ideas with evidence, but I still need to practice organizing my essays more clearly. Notice the awesome balance between these 2 ideas. On the left, we've got a newly learned skill, using evidence. But on the right, we pair it up with a targeted goal for the future, better organization. It is perfectly okay. Actually, it's encouraged to just honestly admit what you still need to work on. And that brings us right to answering our 3rd question, what will I work on next? Take a listen to the specific goal. My goal for next year is to write stronger introductions that grab the reader's attention right away. Now, this is the absolute perfect model for how you should set a specific, actionable goal. Notice it doesn't just say, I want to be a better student. Nope, it says exactly how they want to improve, writing stronger introductions. When your goals are that specific, they actually become achievable. All right, Section 3, applying it to life or real-world growth. Let's talk about why this academic skill profoundly matters way outside the 4 walls of our classroom. This habit of reflection, it's valuable in literally every single area of life. When you get to high school, eventual college, when you enter the workforce, or even when you just take on personal projects or hobbies, stopping to evaluate what you've done is exactly how you succeed. Looking at your past performance to figure out how to be more effective and intentional, that's what separates the good leaders from the truly great ones.
You are building a lifelong habit of excellence right here, right now. And as godly learners, we connect this real-world striving straight to the words of the Apostle Paul. He reflected on his own ministry and encouraged others to press toward the mark, just like we see in Philippians 3:14. We're called to celebrate our progress and keep striving toward excellence. But, and hear me closely on this one, we don't do this just for a good grade on a report card. We do this as a way to glorify God in our work, truly honoring the amazing minds and talents He has blessed us with.
Which brings us to Section 4, your portfolio action plan. It is time to execute. All right, 8th graders, we've laid the foundation and we definitely understand the why. So here is exactly what you need to do to knock this final assignment out of the park. First, you'll write one clear paragraph about your biggest writing improvement this year. Second, list 2 distinct strengths you've developed as a writer. Third, identify one area you still want to improve, and most importantly, tell me how you plan to work on it. Fourth, write a respectful closing statement for your portfolio that thanks your reader for their time. And finally, number 5, choose a Bible verse that really inspires your writing and write a brief explanation of why you chose it. Follow those steps, and that is how you close out your portfolio with absolute purpose.
And our final section, the godly learner's philosophy. Think of this as your compass.
So if your reflection is the mirror and your questions are the map, this philosophy right here is your compass. I really want this truth to sink in. Education without morality can hurt. At HeroesMart Academy, we purposely intertwine biblical morality with your education for a very specific reason. Giving someone immense knowledge and intelligence without teaching them right from wrong, well, that's actually really dangerous. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices, rather than simply making you more capable of achieving selfish goals. Basically, your sharp mind must always be guided by a pure heart. The book of Romans, chapter 8, verses 6 through 7, teaches us that to be spiritually minded is life and peace. True academic excellence has to always be centered on God, on truth, on wisdom, and on righteous choices. Think about it. If you gain all the writing skills in the entire world but lose your spiritual mindedness along the way, you've completely missed the point. I want to encourage you to pursue academic excellence with everything you have, but always keep your mind firmly centered on the Lord. Which leaves us with this final crucial question for you to really ponder as you finish up your portfolio. How will you use your academic excellence to honor God moving forward? As you step into high school next year, as you write better essays, as you tell more vivid stories, and as you learn to reflect on your own growth, how are you going to use those tools for His kingdom? I want you to think deeply about that. Go complete your portfolio action plan with excellence, and let's finish this year strong. I absolutely believe in you, and honestly, I cannot wait to read your reflections.